anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
Captain Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Gonna be held tight, well now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have 'em some fun, 'cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Yeah.
It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right
to the mayor's office. And now, behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. Free at last! Free at last!
You're listening to the Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
And welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat. I'm old Alan Autry, and as always, honored and humbled to have you with us today, live on Monday. Most businesses around the country, they say, take off the whole Thanksgiving. We're not. We're going to take it off Wednesday through Friday. And that is at the direction of our fearless leader, Guillermo Moreno, who's with us today. We call it Moreno Monday here, right?
Okay.
That's the new name. Welcome.
That's the best. Every day should be Monday.
Yeah. I mean, I asked him, I said, we're going to come in next week. He goes, Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Most businesses don't do that, but we think so much of our listeners. Or should I say listener?
Hi, Mom.
I know my mom's watching in heaven right now. But, that boy's doing it again. Oh. You get yourself in trouble, son. Anyway, great to have you here, folks. We're going to be here live today and tomorrow. And are you going to be live, or are you going to do the rerun of this show?
This one.
Okay.
Thank you, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. Get in there and knock out a little twofer. Hey, good news. Did you hear Biden announced that Thanksgiving dinner this year will cost less, much less than Thanksgiving dinner 2022 is going to cost less than Thanksgiving dinner 2023. And he guarantees 2023 is going to cost less than 2024.
That's good spin.
Yeah.
That is masterful spin.
It's nice to know that, isn't it? So thank your lucky stars that you're paying what you're paying.
Did you buy your turkey yet?
You know what? I don't think we're going to go turkey this year.
No?
We're going to save the turkey for Christmas.
Okay.
You know, that's a bang, turkey and ham on Thanksgiving, then bam, a month later.
So what are you doing?
I don't know. We might go Italian or Chinese. I don't know. There's no set rules for Thanksgiving just because the Pilgrims ate turkey, and there's no proof that that's what they ate. They may have ate quail.
Tofu.
And pigeons. No, they didn't eat tofu. No, this is not a country built on tofu eaters.
Hey, I should say.
This is a country raised on meat eaters, carnivores. And by the way, Guillermo, you see these teeth right here?
Yeah.
Listen to them pointing right here. It's like, these are called incisors, right? See that kind of short? They were given by God to rip and tear meat, not eat a mango. Okay? That's what God gave you, these things. You need some meat in your diet.
I don't think that's biblical, but okay.
That is totally biblical. They lamb.
On the sixth day, God.
Have you ever seen the really strict? Because you look really good. You and your wife, you guys are you classified as vegan?
I'm vegetarian. She's pescatarian. She eats fish.
That's called pescatarian.
When it's only pescatarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why she looks healthier than you.
Yeah, and it still grosses me out.
Really?
When she eats meat or the fish, it's just weird.
Really, you don't like any of it?
I don't even like it touching the same pots and pans at home.
Holy moly!
Yeah, I'm that like.
You and Kanye, we got a lot to fix. Right, Jeremy? We got a lot to fix here.
Oh, I don't have multi-billion-dollar deals, so I'm not anything like
he
Kanye.
doesn't either, buddy. The dude lost $1.5 billion in one day.
But
he got dropped by Adidas. They said Adidas not going to drop me. And it's quote Dave Chappelle, they dropped his butt the next day.
But let me ask you this: if you have, maybe he's been a wise money manager. Maybe he's got a couple maybe 400 or 500 million in the bank. What are you going to do with? I mean, I know what I could do with 1.5 billion, but maybe he's happy.
I think a lot about that, and it reminds me when I was in Los Angeles pursuing the acting career, very young, 25, 26 years old. And I'm not gonna get all the details correct on this, but close. I believe
you're Bidening it.
Well, I'm living in a little apartment. We were in a rent control area, so I'm getting by, scraping by, getting enough what they call the gigs, commercials, whatever, to pay my rent and have a little food, not any tofu, but food on the table, hot dogs, hamburgers, that sort of thing for several years. You go along, you come back to your little apartment, and I had a 1968 Rambler that I had that you had to push button to start, and it would constantly heat up. So in the summer when I went over the hill over the 405 down into the valley to go to like Warner Brothers or Universal, you had to take that hill. Oh man, I turned Pentecostal.
I'm praising, Lord, please let me get over this hill. This is a part for me, Lord. It'll change my life. And I'm smelling that steam. It's starting to heat up. The radiator going. Well, I finally abandoned it on the side of the road over on Woodman Boulevard. Just walked away from it. But anyway, I remember, there was not good times economically, but, I was enjoying life. And during that time, there was an individual, I believe he was the president of Delta Airlines. And he had lost his job, okay? And he had to downsize. And he had to downsize from this big mansion to like a Malibu studio, a Malibu apartment studio in Malibu.
That's rough.
Well, he killed himself.
Oh.
He left a note. He felt, I can't live like this. I was so used, it was so miserable, this downgrade in living conditions, that this guy killed. I'm laughing. I don't mean to be laughing about that. I'm just kind of going, wow. I mean, he's lived like me. A guy's so miserable, he's going to kill himself. You feel like saying, man, it's not that bad.
Right.
So with Kanye, I don't think he's wired like that guy. I mean, I'm sure he enjoys the trappings of wealth. He married a Kardashian. Probably can't have too many billions. But he's going through kind of a religious revival, and I don't know. I'm like you. How much would he need to? And he's probably socked away in investments, wouldn't you think?
Hopefully he has some smart money managers.
Yeah, he didn't run into a Bernie Madoff or what's that guy, Bankman?
Yeah. Or FDX.
What if he had all his money in crypto?
Yeah, I was going to say that he's.
Oh gosh.
You better apologize.
If he's not crazy now, that'll make him go crazy. He's completely blown now.
So true. But you mentioned something kind of interesting. Wouldn't it be great if our politicians would have to live at the federal poverty level? Because it's always during this time of Thanksgiving, it's one of those things where I think we should always remember, that you are. I'll say it. I'm pretty busy, and sometimes I need to stop and realize, like, hey, wait a minute. Not everybody. I'm blessed. I know a lot of people. A lot of my friends are blessed. And we just have to remember that, hey, listen, it's a different world out there beyond your four walls.
I think that's probably one of the reasons Jesus talks so much about money. A lot of people don't know this. That Bible readers, Christians, I didn't know it. It was brought to my attention by a pastor that Jesus talks about money more than any other subject.
Really?
Yeah. And he knew that there was a spirit attached to that stuff, money. That if you didn't watch it, that spirit could turn bad and control you. That's where he said the love of money is the root of all evil, not money. I mean, there were some wealthy people. It was a wealthy man, Joe of Arimathea, who came and got Jesus' body and bought him a tomb. Solomon Solomon's an example where it went to his head.
Yeah.
And, he could throw a party whenever he wanted to, had all the women he wanted, everything the world said that a man needed to be happy and totally live the life, baby.
Yeah.
It was Solomon, and at the end of the day, he said,
reminded me of Hunter.
It's nothing. Yes, well, I'm telling you, you read the Bible, and there is some comparisons there. A lot of people don't want to hear that. Read the Bible. Solomon lost his faith for a period of time. Now, thank goodness, at the end of his life, he went through that, what he had done, the evil he had 800 wives.
800 wives?
800.
No way.
Yes.
800 wives?
And let me tell you, that was to populate the world. No, he was a sex addict.
800 wives?
Say it. He was. Hey, his daddy had a problem with it, too. If you haven't heard of Bathsheba, has an affair with his best friend's wife and then has him murdered rather than face the shame. All roads lead back to
All roads lead to Hunter.
I'm trying to give a serious kind of religious message here, spiritual message. And
Hunter Biden.
All right, let's talk. Let's segue over to Hunter Biden because that's on my little list.
Hold on, wait, can I ask you a
question? You can read. What, is it hard?
No.
Okay.
So same thing. What if as we're the week of Thanksgiving?
Is this a trick question?
No, not a trick question at all. What if Hunter Biden just came out and said, "Hey guys, I messed up. You're right. I did it. I'm going to give all the money back. I'm sorry." What if President Trump came out and said, "Listen, the Mar-a-Lago thing was all a mistake. I accidentally kept a couple letters. Couldn't read them at the time. I was depressed, what they call depressed." And
You're actually getting pretty good at that.
Anyhow,
When you first started out with that impression many moons ago, don't worry, I won't go to my Indian. Many moons ago, you were awful. But man, you're good with that impression.
I am. But anyhow, what if they all came out and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll give their documents back. Forgive me. You think America would forgive?
Your mind should muse on things that are possible.
All right.
See, like me, that must me sitting around going, what if I had like 5 Oscar nominations? Will anybody or be in the Hall of Fame in football? Will anybody who's seen me play football or act know that is absolutely a ridiculous thought? So it should be slapped out of my mind.
Oscar.
I'm not going to slap it. Huh?
I think you're Oscar.
Yeah,
worthy.
Oscar Mayer. Yeah, no, I'm not putting myself down when I say that, but you stack me up against other actors. Man, we're all over the board on this show right now.
We are everywhere. Sullivan to Oscar Mayer.
I've tried to Hunter Biden. I'm trying to keep to a guy killing himself in Delta Airlines.
We've been everywhere.
Well, that's what happens when I try to keep up with your ADD.
Sorry, my bad.
I see. I usually step back, folks, and I don't get on the A train, the Marrakesh Express, otherwise known as inside Guillermo's mind. But I'm trying to keep up with you, and that's it. Yeah, but here's the thing. You said something though. Seriously, yeah, right. But let's try to be serious for a second. You made a good point. There should be more efforts made by elected officials, both parties, to go out and be with the people, see what's happening out there. I'm going to use this word because it sounds like it is visceral. It means you really get down there and gut level and see the issues. Talk to the people at the border, in the inner cities, up in Appalachia that's been ravaged by the Oxycontin. Both parties go out there, not wait until midterms, and then you just go out there and you have a rally.
Yeah.
And then you see who gets the most at the rally, and then you go, look, we won. We're loved more. We had more at this people at this rally. And you don't spend what they used to call quality time with anybody and claim to know. You get up there and go, I know what you're going through. I feel your pain. Well, let me tell you, his secret, Slick Willie. You talk to anybody in Arkansas, my wife's from Arkansas, love him or hate him or in between. Let me just tell you, he understood what you just said. He was known as going everywhere in Arkansas. He knew that state like the back of his freaking hand. He was known to go at pig roasts in little towns in Arkansas. And there's some little small. You think Layton and Riverdale are small. Or Huron. Oh, gosh, yes. And he would catch wind of it. He would drive out there, have the state trooper drive him out. And he would hang out, not just for 10 minutes. He'd hang out for like 3-4 hours.
That's cool.
Going, hey, how's that pig? I'll tell you, that's some of the best pig I ever had there. You best pork and beans. Hey, how about Buford? Tell me about how things are going out there on the farm there.
Yeah.
And you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
That's a good point.
And it got so bad that he beat who many thought, and rightfully so, was an unbeatable candidate in George H. Bush. George H. Bush had the highest approval rating of any president ever after Desert Storm. 89%. Wow. And you wonder, where did Clinton come from? Here was this little obscure governor from Arkansas running because nobody else thought they could beat Bush. Nobody. None of the big names were ready to run. They can't beat him. Who's going to beat this guy? So he said, then he read my lips. No taxes.
Yeah.
Not going to do it. Then he stepped on his what, and lost it. But prior to that, Clinton just came out and he had a great message. Yeah, things are going good. We're proud we put Saddam Hussein in his place, but we can do better. Look at the economy. We can do better. And he proceeded to connect with the people. And whether it was I remember watching the first debate, and the polls had George H. up by double digits, most of them. I think one had him 8 or 9. The rest were double digits. And that's back when you can kind of trust polls.
Yeah.
And I watched that debate, even through the television screen. I said, Bush is in trouble. I remember sitting on that couch going, this is far from a gimme. He better get his butt in gear. He better realize what he's up against, because he's up against a master communicator and, in a way, manipulator. But I've never seen anything like it since Kennedy.
Yeah,
Since,
good point.
Kennedy with the Southern.
Yeah.
So I think your point is really well taken, and I think it would behoove, it would behoove the Republicans and the Democrats to not get so obsessed on who gets invited on Fox and CNN, who gets the most viewers, and get out there with the people.
With that said, and looking into 2024, there are no JFKs on either side. There's not even Bill Clintons on either side. Like the quality of politician. Would you?
I agree.
Not even DeSantis is like that.
I agree.
He's too partisan. He can't go to an independent and feel their pain. Have we?
I think he has the best chance, but I do agragree with you.
But yeah, he's no Bill Clinton.
Right. He's going to have to hone those skills.
I mean, the last guy that kind of had it was Obama. He was able to. He was a different style politician.
I saw right through him from the beginning.
Did you? I did.
So did.
I did. I'll admit it. I did.
So did Thomas Sowell. He was a community organizer. I've heard so many. And folks, please, it's not a racial issue. I've seen it, black, white, Hispanic, gifted orators. But again, I go back to, it's not what you say, what have you done? And what he said he wanted to be was a uniter. Community organizers background, they don't unite anybody. They get people together around grievances, and they divide people.
That's a real good point.
To get what you want. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have anything, and went to, and yeah, I'm going to say, went to a church with a policy, a doctrine that was anti-American. This people he hung out with, that he didn't. Anyway, we won't get on
That's a good
Obama.
point.
I didn't. I've been taken in too many times. By the time he came around, I was old enough. I listened to the guy. I go, that's a shyster. That's just a shyster. And then when he made the statement to Joe Biden, when he came off the stage, and Joe Biden goes, boy, that was great. And Obama's reply within the earshot of all the press was, it's a gift, Joe. It's a gift. I went, there's a man really, really wrapped up in himself. He spent his whole life just promoting himself.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Hit on the money.
Yeah, I mean, but he did a lot of people. Don't feel bad that you got suckered, that you drank the Kool-Aid, but you totally.
All right. We're good.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to get your take on. Are you following the World Cup?
I haven't watched a single game. I'm following all the news about it, yeah, but not actually watching it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I will either, unless U.S. advances.
Is it because of the human rights thing?
No, I just don't like soccer. It's like kickball.
Then just say it's a human rights thing.
It's kickball with more people at the ball.
It's way better than kickball.
It's a PE sport.
Oh my God!
It's a PE sport. All right, we'll be right back. It's Alan Autry, No Retreat with Sir Rant-A-Lot, Guillermo Marino. We love y'all. We'll be right back. That would only break my heart.
Hey, do my eyes look cross-eyed on the screen? Because when I look at them, maybe it's a certain angle.
You can ask the folks at home. They'll email Jeremy.
Yeah. Do I look cross-eyed? Because in person, I don't
Viewers,
look cross-eyed.
does he look cross-eyed? You don't look cross-eyed.
Do I look cross-eyed in person?
No. Your left eye's a little. You got a little droop eye on the right.
You know, it's a disability that I found out about recently. By recently, I mean like the past, maybe 6 years ago. So after I finished law school, I go to the optometrist, and he's like,
"Stigmatism."
No, he goes, you realize you have a disability, right? I said, no, I don't. He goes, yeah. He goes, what was the highest educational attainment? You? I said, I got a JD. And he goes, and you did that by yourself? Well, yeah, I did it by myself. And he goes, well, one of your eyes is slower than the other. One of your eyes is like 3 seconds behind. And I was like, wait a minute. All this time I could have asked for an accommodation? Like, are you serious?
It's not too late.
I think I might.
It's not too late. When you were having that PPE loans, man, loans, you should have been all over that.
Apparently,
Americans with disabilities.
I didn't even know. And he's like, yeah. He goes,
what do they call that condition?
I don't know.
Late eye? Lazy eye? Late eye?
Late eye.
What?
Late eye.
It's
weird.
I've never heard of such.
And so he gave me these tests that I can do with more, like these exercises that I can do. And I was like, all right, now you're just listen, doc.
Well, did he give you any symptoms? And you went, oh man, yeah, I've had that happen. I didn't know what was.
No, he just said it's like delayed. It's just weird.
Now, what's delayed? I mean, how can they?
I don't know.
The image is delayed getting there behind the other eye?
Yeah, like for me, like when you're talking,
Okay.
it's like the words aren't matching up with your mouth. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, that's what Fetterman has. You.
I'm joking.
I'm not making a joke about Fetterman at all, please.
No, I'm joking. No, it's I mean, I don't
You're
know.
joking about the whole thing?
No, I'm not joking about the whole thing. No, seriously, it's what he. And that's why I was looking in here. I was like, man, maybe on the screen you can actually see it.
I've seen you on the screen a lot, and I've never seen you cross-eyed.
Maybe I better do the exercises now.
So, did he give you exercises?
Yeah, I don't remember them now. Oh, you know what? It was kind of like looking around up and down.
Oh, giving it exercise.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, because it's lazy and late.
Yeah.
It's not working as hard as the other one.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to use both of them?
Well, I can't just use one and not the other.
Well, it'll always stay 3 seconds behind. You gotta stop the one, right? So
20 seconds?
So it can catch up with the other.
I better make another appointment.
Yeah,
I don't know.
get another
But you can tell it's smaller than the other, huh?
Did he give you a prognosis? I mean, you just going to be all right for...
I mean, eventually, I'll...
Eventually what?
I don't know.
5 seconds?
Now you got me worried.
I got to look into this thing now.
Yeah, you got me worried, my little buddy. Kind of like bad things happen to you.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Hey, welcome back on Merino Monday. A couple of days before Thanksgiving, and so much to be thankful for. Even with all the stuff going on, we still live in America, the best country in the world.
Amen.
By far. By far. We were going to talk about you all right?
I'm all right.
Huh?
I'm good.
Okay. We were talking about your eye during the break. We won't go through that again. We'll fill you in later, but it's not life-threatening. What Darren was dealing with. Eye-threatening, not life-threatening. World Cup. So would you say you're really into it, kind of into it, not into it? You give a rat's behind about it?
I'm a fair weather fan, I think, in any sport. If I have a connection to it, like if the Fresno State were like, 11-0 and they were going to the chip, I'd be ready to go.
Do you know the rules?
To the World Cup?
To soccer in general.
Yeah, 90 minutes, score, goals, and...
No, but you don't know any of the fouls or anything like that?
Well, apparently...
They're the biggest babies. They flop and get up. They barely touch them.
They deserve
these
Oscars.
Guys that look like they come out of GQ all tanned up, all these countries. Women are going crazy. You barely touch them. They're like, ah! Come
so
on.
True.
And they do don't they know they have instant replay? You're just going to see the guy breathed on you when you went by, and it looked like you got hit by a 9mm shell over in Ukraine.
So true.
Huh?
Very
How
true.
can you like a sport like that?
Very true.
Played by, I know they're in condition, but they're not tough.
This is the world sport,
though.
They're not tough. This is the world sport. Soccer is...
I'm sorry.
We talk about the NFL here in the United States.
We got to export NFL in a hurry.
This is...
You got a world full of snowflakes.
That is very true.
Oh.
But no, I'm not following it. I think if the United States... the best we've ever done? I was listening to Brian Kiltme this morning on our station. The best we've ever done is semifinals. The first World Cup. You know that? It's the best we've done.
Well...
They made the Final Four.
How good has Luxembourg done in American football? Baseball.
Yeah.
How's Luxembourg? They've never won a World Series.
Yeah, but American soccer is pretty...
I'm going to get a lot... I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. But I have in the past. I just can't get it. Listen, any sport where 3-1 is a blowout, I don't want to watch that.
It is boring.
I don't want to watch them kick the ball. I want to see some scoring. Widen the freaking net or loosen up some. Don't make it like the NFL where you can barely touch the quarterback and it's 60-58 at halftime. Because you get, or baseball where you juice the baseball. Everybody gets on steroids. Oh, another home run. Oh, yeah, okay.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Change the game up a little bit.
Yeah. Give us some, some 5-4 games. Let it go into the net more often. People go freaking crazy when you score. Have you ever heard? It's like,
oh, yeah.
They've discovered gold up in the Sierra.
Oh, yeah. They burned down seats.
Gold! God, you put a round ball through the net, dude. Come on.
So it's not your favorite sport, I take it.
Oh, God. But listen, even sports that are not my favorite, I'm going to tell you, if America's involved, I get really hooked if they can make it further in the rankings. If it comes out like, they win this game, they get into the finals. I mean, I was like that with ice hockey in the 80 Olympics.
Let's just be
I don't know
real.
anything about ice hockey. I never watch ice hockey. But the American team, it was fun watching that because they had defied the odds and were going up against the Ruskies.
Yeah, I was gonna say even if it's not a final game, let's just say it's like a round of 32 and they're playing the Chi-Coms. I'm gonna watch it, and you're gonna hinge on every minute. If they're playing Vladimir Putin, and Vladimir Putin is there with the sweater,
you're right. Okay, I'm with you.
You're watching 90 minutes of it,
right? There has to be added value.
Yeah.
My wife's like that. I think most people are like that. They don't know anything about the sport, and you're watching it as a guy, whatever. And it's something special about the game.
Mm-hmm.
These guys they're trying to have a perfect season. They're 14-0, or 16-0 in the National Football League. They win this game. They tie the Dolphins, being the only team to go and beat. I watch her. She'll sit down. Really? She'll sit down and watch it. She loves to see fans storm the field after.
Oh, I don't think they could do that in Qatar.
What's that?
I don't think they could do that in Qatar.
They're doing it in Iran. They're taking off those hijabs. Is that how you call them? That head dressing?
Yeah.
The women said enough. But we just veer off.
We're everywhere.
What do you think about that?
The hijabs?
If you had to think of one country in the Middle East that is so authoritarian, okay, you think of, at least me, I think of Iran and Saudi Arabia, okay, where there would be a revolt where they said, you know what, I'm willing to die for some freedoms. I would say not in Iran.
Didn't they just
they are taking their two, and you know who's leading the way?
Who?
Actors.
Really?
Two
Iranian
of the top
actors.
Iranian actors. I think it's two women, obviously, because the men going, hey, I support this movement, he will suddenly disappear. But the Iranian government, they really don't know what to do with this because, as I said in Chicago, the whole world's watching. They've got the cell phones out there, and these ladies are saying, and I think the young lady whose name was Masa Amini, I think was her name. A 22-year-old young Iranian girl was brought in by the morality police. This is what started all this. They have a thing called the morality police.
We're going to get one too.
Oh, exactly. No, I was waiting for you. I just tossed that out there. You think never in America? Come on, it's already here.
Oh, no kidding.
They just haven't got to the beheadings yet. That's down the line. She was brought in by the morality police. I don't know what the charge was. I don't believe she removed her headwear, and I think it's called a hijab. I just don't want to do my Okie version of it and mess it up. Yeah, them hijabs there. They took them off there, and they got pissed off out there, and they take off that damn dang hijabs. I don't want to be one of those guys. But it's something to do with the headdress.
Yeah.
That the morality police didn't like. Took her in. She died in custody. Mysteriously. And they made the big mistake, they meaning the Iranian authorities, by not coming clean. Like he said, what would if Trump and then Biden just said, okay, this is what happened. They didn't respond. And that's when it started. You push that line. These women are so subservient. That was the that was the flashpoint.
That was the icing on the cake.
Yeah, there was so much, obviously, dissension built up that stayed silent. Like this brewing anger and resentment that the women had to put up with. And they put up with it. Honor killings, for goodness sake. That if you just, you don't marry the person that the family wants you to marry, the father can order an honor killing. And it's in the law.
Have you ever been to a Muslim majority country?
I have not.
It is weird. It is very weird. I was in Egypt.
Nothing against the Islamic faith.
No, not at all.
I have a lot of Islamic friends, but they interpret the Quran a heck of a lot different than they do over there.
It is. It's just really weird, and we'll have to go into that another day. But the one that really got me was the Iranian protesters set fire to Ayatollah Khomeini's ancestral home 2 days ago.
Wow.
They burned the thing down.
They burnt Khomeini. The Khomeinis. There's Khomeinis.
Yeah, this is the founder.
You talking about the Ayatollah back in the Reagan days?
Ayatollah Khomeini's
that took the hostages?
ancestral home, burned it down.
Man, that's game on.
I was going to tell you, taking off the hijab is one thing, but I mean, burning it, that
qualifies, I think, even at this early point, as full-fledged revolution.
I would say so myself.
Now, how successful it is, I don't know, but it being led by women adds a different dynamic.
That's amazing.
Let's face it. You can do this gender-neutral thing, the binary or non-binary. Let me tell you, there just is something more egregiously awful when you harm a woman or you kill a woman. I don't.
Amen.
People get past that. Am I a male chauvinist for saying that? I think you open the door for a lady. Men, your job is to protect your wife and your children, especially your daughters. You are a man. That is a man's responsibility. So you have this situation where you have women who are standing up for this young lady, Amini, and they're saying, listen, we're not going to do this anymore. We have to do something. This is not right. And they're caught in a rock and a hard place with this ideology that they have there. Nothing against Islamic religion. It is what it is. People interpret it differently. The Muslim friends that I have here do not interpret that you own your wife, that you can honor kids.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's a strict interpretation of the Quran. It's very militant. And they, my friends, were just as sickened and angry about 9/11 as any Christian American I knew.
Yeah.
But this other group that's controlling Iran, this entire country, and I'd have to say Saudi Arabia, too. What do you think? I don't know where this tapers off.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, it's the Iranian, like you said, the latest Khomeini or Ayatollah, whatever he is. They got a real big problem on their hand because
you don't pronounce the K.
Right.
Khomeini. Oh, you did it, Khomeini.
They got a real big problem on their hands because you're right. This is how revolution starts. This is how, when you oppress your people so much, they get tired of it and they start to move. What I think is really interesting, though, and you mentioned Saudi Arabia, and you look at Bahrain and you look at Qatar, I won't say which administration did it, but a couple of years ago, our delegation went over there, and while we were pressing for the Abraham Accords, we met with MBS, we met with MBZ, we met with all these foreign leaders and said, hey, look, if we want to start normalizing, you guys have to do some reforms in your country. So this isn't only happening in Iran, but I think the Iranian people are starting to see other Muslim majority countries give more rights to women and give more rights to their people, and saying, well, wait a minute, why isn't my government doing it? And remember, they're not all one big family. You got a lot of tribes over there that hate each other, but you also have to realize that they're the same. I don't want to say they're the same people, but they have a connection.
Yeah.
So I think they're looking at across the borders and they're like, wait a minute, this isn't right. And then you have that funneled with a strong, and we are a strong Western country alliances, and I bet you these protesters feel like, hey, we have support on the world stage. And then you have the World Cup coming on. This is the perfect time for the Iranians to stand up. I only hope that eventually the Chi-Coms, the people in China also do the same thing.
Well, that, again, it goes to show, you just never know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, logic would say this kind of revolution would probably happen in China because they have more freedoms in China. It's still a communist country, but they have more than Iran and Saudi Arabia.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's just a fact. So you're going to have to deal with that. Once people taste freedom, they want more. So you're going to have to deal with that as a country. But in Iran, Saudi Arabia, so far they've been able with that iron fist to be the morality police.
Yeah.
And for, centuries, thousands of years, women were told exactly what to do, when to do it, how to dress, where to go, to be totally subservient to the man, not as we say here where the two become one, distinct differences between that. And again, for an oppressive regime, the worst nightmare for an authoritarian oppressive regime is to have women revolt. They can deal with a lot of poor men.
True.
A lot of poor guys. They'll take the baton out, take out the gun. But you look at America. When the women said, you know what? We cook the meals. We stand. Tell me why not? We stand by our man. We do this. We do that. We're here. We're contributing to the oppression. We work hard. We're willing to raise the kids and do everything. But dadgummit, we deserve the right to vote. And they went out and they marched, and America gave in, as they should have. The authorities, you never saw women being hit with batons or shot down. They got that. You see during the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, great leader during that movement. I don't think there's any question on that. But it was Rosa Parks, a woman, saying, I'm not going to go back to the back of the bus.
Yep.
That was a flashpoint that brought so many white people, even those on the edge that had a little racism in their hearts, said, you should not make that woman go back there. They identified with the woman, if not the race, the woman. And I happen to believe in some of the most prejudiced parts of this country, you had women who may have held prejudiced feelings, had sympathy for that woman. And I think that as much as anything led to the civil rights reforms of the 60s. There's just something about it. And you go and you chunk it down, you go, well, it's no wonder. I wouldn't have liked it. But I talk back to my dad, and every now and then, and getting a whooping from a dad or a man is okay. But when I let my mother down, or I sassed my mother, I got the whooping, and I still felt bad for talking to my mother that way. There's women, there's mothers, and so the Iranians leadership, dadgummit, they got their hands full.
They do. They do.
They need to get to the negotiation table. They need to say, in Islamic, Amharic, whatever language they speak, say, bring your leaders, pick them, bring them into the palace. Let's start talking and see if we can figure this thing out.
Yep. Because every one of those men has a mom. Exactly.
And it's going to have to be the women to stay there, because that you bring an interesting point. Who's going to be the first men in Iran? You're not seeing much. Who's going to go out there and pull the male version of Tammy Wynette? Stand by your man. What men are going to stand by their woman and go out there saying, I'm willing to die for my wife?
Yeah.
They're out there. They're out there in Iran.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
So you sit there and I'm pulling for them, praying for them, get out there with them. And you got a chance to, let me tell you, literally, and we'll go to break here, Guillermo, I want your thoughts. I really do think with Iran pursuing a nuclear weapon, which they are, a freer, more democratic Iran is a country that's less of a threat to the world, because they probably are going to get that nuclear weapon. A free and democratic Iran is much less likely to blow up the freaking world than this ideology that says that if you blow up the world, you're going to usher in the ninth Imam and we're all going to go to heaven. That's the radical version, of which many Muslims don't adhere to. God bless them. But anyway, all right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you about TikTok. Remember when your man Trump said, hey, TikTok is a threat to our security? Remember, he was shut down TikTok, right? And he said your
TikTok is owned by China.
Yeah,
China.
Well, he said they were using TikTok to get information.
Yeah.
And he was ridiculed by the left, by the right. Well, guess what?
He was right.
Mr. Trump may have been right all along. We're going to talk about this TikTok and their ability to know exactly what you are doing every second of every minute of every hour of every day. We'll be right back. Well, that's a good music selection today, brother. Segment. Hey, Shannon.
How bad is the buzz?
My buddy Kenny Shockley, you got to have on your show here.
Okay.
Kenny's just a wealth of great patriot, by the way. Fought over there in the Middle East for us, but a good friend of mine, and we worked together at City Hall for several years. He just texted me that it's Hajib. I'm
Hajib.
correct.
Hijab.
Hijab.
Hajib.
Yeah.
No,
yeah. You know what? He just corrected.
Hajib.
H-A-J-O-B. Hijab.
Hajab.
Hijab.
Like hajab.
Kenny, thank you, brother. Appreciate
Hajab.
that. God bless you. You and your family can't wait to have you in here. Can't wait to get together with you again. Break some bread. He's a good man.
Yeah, I'll have to have him on.
Exactly.
Yeah, turn on the one in the lobby. Maybe that.
It's just like last time.
Are you sure it's not that one?
I'll check, but
Is it on TuneIn?
yeah, TuneIn's working fine.
What's going on?
It might be this, right? We've got a buzz.
No, it's like the tower, like last time.
Let me
Like,
see.
TuneIn and social are good. We got a minute 30. One minute.
Are we still buzzing? Boy, just when you need a buzzkill.
I think our tower's having issues, like what happened last time. But we're still on the TuneIn app and social media.
Are we on radio? Is it coming in at all?
No,
Not at all.
no. But the
Oh.
TuneIn app, which is like the radio feed, is working.
Yeah, that's not too many people have that.
25 seconds.
So we're just totally dark on the radio.
10 seconds.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
And welcome back to Alan Autry No Retreat on this wondrously beautiful Monday in the United States of America. Coming to you from the Manchester studio of KXEX, the best talk in town. Excuse me. I don't have a cough button here, so I'm just going to cough right in your ear. Sorry about that.
That's
TikTok.
always-
TikTok. What about this TikTok phrase? My daughter sends me TikTok. One of my daughters sends me TikTok videos all the time. TikTok is, I guess, went over 1 billion users on the news last night. So you got 1 billion people around the world that apparently, if they want to, the Chinese can listen into and get your personal information all they want. Is that an issue with you?
A huge issue. Huge issue. You know, when you have another...
Even though it's owned, they say that the critics of you would say it's Americans run it, that it's not coming, the feed's not coming from China. But in theory, they said that China could have access to the information, which means they have access.
Yeah, but this isn't just happening with TikTok. I think this is happening with a lot of our American corporations where Chinese have some kind of lever in the background, which is always bad because the Chinese, they're bad actors. They steal our intellectual property, our IP. They steal everything they can. So I got a big problem with it. And I think the bigger problem is just the American people that are addicted to this stuff. Because, I mean,
Well, Trump came out and said, listen,
Yeah.
he shut it down.
Yeah.
And now these people, these other politicians on the left and the right are saying the same thing that Trump was saying, that this is a threat to national security.
It's a direct threat to national security because another country, I mean, just look at the premise. Another country should never have access to any American information, period. But we're so, and I don't want to say this, but we're so dumb where we know, I mean, we could have, you know, all the forms that you click on, like, okay, yes, I agree to all their terms and conditions. You could literally have in there, China will be watching you. China will take all your information. You know how many Americans would be like, that's fine with me. Let me just click term and conditions. It's fine. I mean, it's insane. But, I mean, this is the type of world we live in now where this type of information, I think, is readily available not only to China, it's available to everybody. And the United States should do something and say, no.
Well, in my little mind, I think You get your car, something's wrong with it, manufacturing flawed. You get a recall notice.
Yeah.
You bring in your car and they fix it. I don't see why they couldn't say, okay, we're going to put something on your phone or on the platform itself that blocks that. The capability of China to get that information. You still can share the videos.
Yeah.
But that's all you can do. And you can't hack in there. There's got to be some technology that you can do, like the antivirus stuff they put in computers. You got McAfee, all these different things. The virus. There's got to be, if there's the actual will to do that.
Yeah, there's not the will.
Because China's tentacles are everywhere.
I think that's the problem with a lot of these things. I don't think we have the will. I think China has the power of money. I mean, China has bought off so many countries, so many corporations. There is not that power. Hey, but let me ask you, what are they getting? Like, what are that I just looked up something on it. What are they getting?
No, I tell you what they get, because again, it goes back, and you've talked about it on the show many times. China plays the long game.
They do, yeah.
We've only been a country here a few hundred years, a couple hundred years, 240 something. I don't know. It's very young country. You're talking about a civilization that's literally thousands of years old. And they think, where is our country going to be, China, in 25 years, 50 years, 100 years? And you see them slowly, inexorably building this China erector set in militarily, communication-wise, education. They're already all over the universities. Tens of thousands of Chinese students from the Communist Party come over here, get educated, take all that information back to China. We also know the theft of intellectual property, that China dwarfs all the other countries together, including Russia, in stealing our intellectual property technologically. They're building these islands all over the world, little islands in the middle of the ocean, capable of putting missile sites, launching nuclear weapons from. Just last night, there was the announcement that they now have a submarine that is able to shoot a missile with a nuclear warhead from the South China Sea and hit the United States. They've never had that long-range capability ever before. They got it now. You see them going in Africa and starting to buy off Africa with infrastructure to get at those natural resources that they're going to need. They're in Australia. They built, airports in Australia. As you said, going around making these deals all over the country. And it was just leaked last night. Again, last night was actually a big thing. Sunday night, people aren't paying attention. But me, I got nothing else to do after I go to church and read my Bible. So I listen. Xi Jinping has directed, it's from a reliable source, Reuters is pretty reliable. They've got people behind the scenes there. I found them to be pretty reliable in terms of saying something, hey, we got this information, and then having it play out the way the initial reports came out. And they said that Xi Jinping has directed the military establishment there to be ready in 2027 to make the move on Taiwan.
2027.
2027. So they figure by that time they're going to have all of this stuff to the level that they feel that America would not be able to do anything. And that's why you're not seeing the Chinese. They want the war in the Ukraine to slow down, where they can continue to sell things and ship things, but they don't want it to go away, Guillermo, because they want America bogged down, spending a lot of money in Ukraine, basically what Reagan did to the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
They saw that model. Reagan bankrupted the Soviet Union by the threat of having this Star Wars plan, where it was a shield for America against nuclear weapons. So economically, they've already started $31 trillion in debt. We have a national debt. We're funding a war. We have a recession coming on here. And you could see, I could see 2027, they can make that move. And what's America going to do? And one of the big things Xi Jinping is going to say, look, would you allow your version of Taiwan, Mr. President, whoever that is in 2027, is Cuba. You did not allow nuclear weapons on Cuba. What if we, Chinese, wanted to militarize Cuba like the Taiwan has been militarized. Taiwan's got a bad army, man. Bad as in good. Those boys are well equipped. They got a lot of artillery. It'll be a bloodbath to take Taiwan, but China would eventually win. But what would we do if a country decided to arm Cuba right off our coast like that? Well, we know what we'd do. Kennedy was ready to risk nuclear war to prevent it. He says, you can't have nuclear weapons. Those ships crossed this line, Mr. Khrushchev. Game on.
Yeah.
That's when America started building all these bomb shelters. It's going to happen. So they've got that card to play politically and in their minds morally, that we don't have a leg to stand on. And then you take that, I can't see any way Western Europe and the United States stands by Taiwan when Xi Jinping or whoever's in office makes his move. I don't see any way, even if you had the will, that there would be the capability to defend Taiwan. They are at the mercy of China. That's why we have to make sure bring all that manufacturing back from China. Reduce our dependence upon China. Right now, what's our plan for 2027? Take that for it. He said it to his military. They have the intelligence. What's our plan right now to reduce their capabilities and their power?
Well, I hope we have a plan.
I fear that we don't.
You're probably right. I hope we have a plan. We probably do not. I mean, at this point in time, you just hope that we have a change in administration because, 2027 is going to be a different – hopefully it will be a different president if you continue to go with the Democrats, and it's going to be the same problem. I mean, Xi Jinping, the Chinese have been very – this is brash.
Oh,
I mean, just think about it. This is like –
they're not even hiding it.
Yeah, 2027, we're coming. I mean, what do you do?
And people think, well, with Xi Jinping, he's gone. Look, you get rid of Xi Jinping, you got Xi Jinping coming in.
Yeah.
Go ping to pong. You're still going to have that same policy. I mean, it's in their DNA. They want to dominate the world.
Yeah.
And they don't really want to do it militarily, but they will if they have to. And that's where it's a scary,
it's the economy.
That's why you said, and you said it many, many times. It sounds like a cliche, but doesn't make it less true. Elections matter.
Yep. Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Folks, we're going to come live to you Tuesday, tomorrow, God willing. And we'll wish you a happy Thanksgiving, but you can't wish happy Thanksgiving too much. So happy Thanksgiving. God bless you all. And remember, just do your best and let God do the rest. Bye-bye now.